Welcome to Across the Pond, a podcast for leaders in market research to help them grow their insight agencies, with Steve Hankey and Paul Griffiths.
Hi, and welcome to Across the Pond, a podcast for how to grow your insight agency. I'm Paul Griffiths from Client Advocates.
And I'm Steve Hankey with Purposeful Marketing. Thank you very much for joining us today. I think we've got an interesting topic today that was recommended by one of our listeners.
Yeah, Agnieszka. Hello, Agnieszka. Thank you very much for the prompt. If anybody else wants to give us some ideas for future episodes, let us know. But yeah, thank you, Agnieszka.
Yes, thank you very much. We're going to talk about lapsed clients, the value of lapsed clients, how to maybe get them back into the fold a little bit, and why they're so important. I think it's an important topic. I have always believed, Paul, that gone doesn't mean gone forever. And so let's talk about that a little bit today. But I want to start with why we're reticent to go after lapsed clients.
Okay.
And I think there's a couple of reasons, right? I think it's ego, right? You know, admitting that you lost them and you have to kind of suck it up to go back and talk to them. There's a little bit of ego involved there. I think there's some concession. Well, we lost them. It was a good run. We had them for a couple of years and they moved on. So let's let them go. I think, though, the real reason is forgetfulness. And here's what I mean by that.
Okay.
A client left you 2 years ago. You've been pretty busy since then. And even business might even be growing a little bit, but you're so busy, you don't even bother to think about them and go back and worry about them. And I think that's what happens is we get so tied up in the today, we kind of forget about the yesterday. So I think that's why we're not doing it. But I think there's great value in making it a purposeful, intentional strategy to grow your business. And I think we're at a good point in the year, early 2026, where we can look at, okay, who have we lost in the last couple of years? And can we put plans in place as we move throughout the rest of the year to perhaps go out and try and rekindle something with those clients, former clients?
Look, I couldn't agree more. I would add another element, which I've seen with people, is embarrassment. It's that, and maybe this is a British thing. Maybe this is from this side of the pond. It's like, oh my goodness, I've not spoken to them for a while. Actually, I'm rather embarrassed about the fact I've not spoken to them for a while. Oh, that feels really awkward. I'm going to avoid the social anxiety and awkwardness of reaching out to someone after 18 months and going, oh, hello, haven't spoken to you for a while. So I think there's that going on.
Yeah. No,
the other thing I would say is I really, really detest the term lapsed client. I really don't think it's helpful, because I think my view is you should never have lapsed clients. You can have clients you're not working with currently, but the idea of lapsed, that somehow they've fallen off, is really, I think it gives us an excuse to let them fall off. And so I would like to expunge the term lapsed clients from our lexicon. It's more clients we're not working with, but that we are still engaging with, talking to, sharing value content and all the rest of it. But so I think it's great that we're doing this episode, and I love the idea of how do we reconnect with these people. But if your sales and marketing and your commercial structures are working well, you should never have a lapsed client. It's just a client who's not giving you money at the moment.
Okay, that's a nice sentiment. Maybe. First of all, I agree with your comment about, I think this is a huge part of this, which is if your sales and marketing machine is working, that's a big piece of this, Paul, that it has to be working. It has to be ongoing. Yeah. So even these clients that you're not currently working with, they're hearing from you on a regular basis. They're getting your quarterly newsletter. They're seeing your posts on LinkedIn. They're bumping into you at conferences.
Yes.
If those things aren't in place, you will never get those clients back.
Yeah.
That you need to be part of their consciousness at some level, so that when appropriate projects come around, maybe they think of you. But if they're not hearing from you at all, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think that's where when I work with clients, and we inevitably, when we're talking about growth, one of the first things, as you've said, is we look at, right, who are the clients that you worked with that you're not currently engaging with, you're not currently getting work from? What's the story behind that? And it's so often it's that sense of, oh yeah, we worked with them. Yeah, kind of the last project went okay, but we've gone a bit quiet. But and you say, well, okay, so what have you done to connect with them and engage with them and talk to them and show that you're still around? And the answer is, well, yeah, we haven't. And that's the core to, I think, this, for me, that's what unlocks the value in lapsed clients, is understanding that you need to have a sales and marketing process in place. That means these people are never not engaged with.
Right. That's, I would agree with that. I think the other one, and not as important as that one, I think that by far is the most important thing you can do, is don't burn any bridges. We've had plenty of clients come and go, and they're all still friendly with us. We're still friendly with them. When I run into them at conferences, we sit down, we shake hands, we have a beer. I mean, it's great. It's fine.
Yeah.
There might be one or two that we actually fired where the relationship is not all that good, but by and large, when they are no longer paying clients, to use your terminology, the relationship is still good. There's nothing wrong there. We've never burned any bridges, at least intentionally. So if the relationships are still good and you're still in touch with them, you still have a chance.
Yeah. So come on, then, how do we make sure that we engage with these clients? Because we've touched on it. It's about having that sales and marketing process, but what's some good tips or tricks or ideas that we can give to our listeners to make sure that they can go back into the offices tomorrow, whenever they've listened to this, and go, right, this is what we're going to do with those clients that we haven't spoken to for 2 years or 18 months or however long it is?
I'll start with a couple.
Yep.
The first is, it needs to be, and I kind of referenced this early on, a purposeful, intentional strategy.
Yeah.
It needs to be part of your sales and marketing plan for 2026. This is what we're going to do. We are going to go after these lapsed clients. And so then the next step, part 2 of that, is, okay, how do we identify them?
Yeah.
The tool we use, and it's a simple tool, is as a report out of your accounting system, revenue by client by year for the past 5 years, and go back and see who left you. Get to my point earlier, we get a little forgetful. And if somebody left us a couple of years ago and we've still been pretty darn busy, but they're still there.
Yeah.
So I would start by identifying those clients who are no longer paying customers and seeing, where our relationship stands with them. Are we still connected on LinkedIn? Are our key contacts still there? What did we do with them before? What were the opportunities that we weren't getting before? And sort of build up our little activation plan, if you will, to use your term, on how we go about getting back with each of them, and assign some responsibility to that. Somebody's got to own that relationship. So I would start with, make it purposeful, put it in the plan, and let's identify those targets. I would start there.
I was working with a client literally 2 weeks ago before half term, and we were going through this process, and we'd gone back 5 years, because I think that's a good timeline to go back to. And they sat around and went, gosh, they had literally forgotten. We've used to work with such and such.
Every time.
Like, that's awesome. Brilliant. Let's go and check them out now. What are they doing? Are they still it was an end client, and actually it turned out they'd moved businesses. They'd moved to a different brand, and they were like, but we've always wanted to work with that brand, and we've never had an in. We've never been able. And I was like, so look, there is the value of the client that you haven't spoken to for a while, and doing that kind of process of just going back and reminding yourself. Yes, it reminds you that they're there. But secondly, you might find that there's new opportunities because they've moved and into different companies and different brands, and their careers have moved on. And therefore, there's an even richer opportunity to break in and go and work with them at a different business. I think that really resonates for me.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think the things we talked about have to be, that we've already sort of alluded to, have to be part of your plan. You have to be sending out the monthly or quarterly newsletter, and all of them still need to be on it.
Yeah.
You need to be connected with them on LinkedIn and be purposefully posting 2 or 3 times a week about your firm and sharing resources and things like that. You need to be at conferences. You need to be visible. You need to be seen. Those are all your opportunities to meet and reconnect with those people. And then I think the not that it's the final thing, but the direct outreach is certainly appropriate. And to your point, that's kind of where the embarrassment comes in. I kind of get that. But to reach out to somebody you haven't talked with in a couple of years and say, John, it's been a while. How you been? Or send them an email and say, can we schedule 15 minutes to catch up? It's been too long.
Yeah.
And again, if you didn't burn the bridge, they're more than likely going to accept that invitation. Excuse me. It's not a sales pitch.
No.
It's just a chance to reconnect.
That's the last thing it is.
It is. Thank you. Absolutely. It's just a chance to reconnect, rekindle, see if there's still some need and interest and fit there. The selling will come down the road, but reconnecting, if you believe in the know, like, trust paradigm, it's important to do that.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely right. And I think the opportunity to do that in a way that is authentic. So my advice is always, if you're going to do that, if you're going to reach out to someone you've not spoken to for a few years, first of all, check them out on LinkedIn and kind of make sure that, what they're doing and what they're, so you've got some context, but then send them a note and say, and you can write the note, which basically says, so-and-so, this is my bad. I've been really, really not good at keeping in contact with my clients, including you. I'm now trying to be better at this. It would be lovely to catch up. Be kind of honest about the fact that actually you've kind of let it slip. That kind of level of, I think, of humanity and transparency and authenticity actually is going to respond. They're going to respond more to that than I'm just reaching out to you to find out how, and doing something that's far more formal and far more salesy and corporate, which honestly, they're going to sit there and go, oh, maybe this is why I haven't spoken to you for 2 years. Because when you communicate, you talk like this. Whereas, you know what? I've just not been very good at keeping in contact with people. I'm reaching out. How are you doing? Do you want to have a cup of coffee? Are you going to an event here? I'm going. If you're going, it'd be great to see you. If you're not, we should have a catch up type stuff. I think works far more effectively. And to your point, 9 times out of 10, people will go, oh, thank you, that's great. And they might say, thank you, that's great. Actually, you know what, at the moment, it's not, I haven't got the time or I haven't got the inclination, but you've still reached out. And if you're using, what we're both alluding to here, I think, is using a CRM system or using some form of tracking of your contacts and your emails and your correspondence with these people, you can then set up a note to say, well, look, I reached out. They said no at the moment, but that means I'll send them the newsletter next month, or I'll put a note in my diary to contact them again in 3 months and go, hey, I'm trying to be a bit better. It's only 3 months since I last contacted you rather than 2 years.
A couple other thoughts along those lines, Paul. One is often firms get pigeonholed, right? You're the firm that worked with this particular end user and you were doing all of their concept testing, whatever. And that's what you got known for. You do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe reaching out about this other stuff once you get past the initial introductions is sort of opens their eyes to the fact that, oh, they do some other things besides concept testing. I think the other thing, and I actually have a really interesting story about this, is if it's been a couple, 3 years since you've talked with somebody, I'm guessing your firm is a little different now than it was 2 or 3 years ago. What are you doing that's new?
Yeah.
Share your shiny new penny. I know, and I'll make it as quick as I can. There was a sales rep for a firm who was not even in our industry, who was brand new to the research industry, whose strategy was, I'm reaching out to all the former clients of this firm.
Yeah.
And basically said to them, it's been a couple years since we worked together. We're doing some things now that we weren't doing the last time we worked together. Can we schedule some time to talk? And she became the top salesperson in that firm in like 6 months by targeting just former clients and letting them know we've got some new things you might want to take a look at. And I thought that's a brilliant idea. So I think this idea of being pigeonholed, of a shiny new penny, whatever it is, to let folks know that you're not exactly what they might remember you to be.
I think that's just so right. And I think it's about giving the value, isn't it? So it's giving that sense of, I've not been in contact with you, but I've been thinking about your business. I've been thinking about some stuff that's going on in the marketplace. I've got some observations. I've got some opinions about some things that may be relevant to you. Why don't we exchange a bit of value? Why don't I just, and it doesn't have to be very long. It can be, I just want to spend 15 minutes with you. I've been doing it with the conference you and I went to Miami. I've been reaching out to people that I've known, and maybe not working with at the moment, going, look, I've got some interesting observations about my experience in the US and that conference. can I spend 15, 20 minutes just chatting through what I observed and what I learned? And, that might be interesting and might be valuable to you. So I think there are always, if we're an industry that's meant to be curious. We're an industry that's meant to be engaged in our clients and our consumers' problems and issues and all the rest of it. We spend all of our lives doing research. Now, that might be confidential, but the observations and the knowledge and the experience of what you're seeing in a marketplace or around a particular sector or category or, whatever it might be, this is all really rich, useful, valuable content that you can leverage and use when you are reaching out to people going, hey, we've not spoken for a while, but here's something kind of that might be of interest.
I think I agree 1,000%. I think along the lines of that content, that valuable information you're talking about, there's also, I think, value in putting that in writing, putting that on video, and then sharing that with those lapsed clients.
Yeah.
And basically, hey, I just wrote this article as a follow-up to the CEO Summit, thought it might interest you. And you start to share some of that thought leadership, some of that subject matter expertise as a sort of an easy entree into re-engaging a relationship with them. Yeah. To your point earlier, sometimes a direct reach out might be a little uncomfortable, but sharing a resource never is.
Yeah.
And so I think leverage all that expertise and knowledge and opinion to share with those lapsed clients.
Yeah. The other build I would have is, and this is again, it's about looking at the data and the information you have in your business. I was working with a client last year, and they had some clients they no longer work with, or they don't currently working with. They did have a basic CRM system. They had a newsletter. I said to them, look, have a look through the newsletters and see if these clients have clicked on any of the articles or any of the links. Turned out they've been clicking on stuff and reading their newsletter, but in my client's head, it was like, no, they're lab. They're not, that we're not working with them, and they've been missing marketing. What's the term? A marketing qualified lead, an MQL. They've missed a signal in the data about the fact here was someone that was clicking on their articles and their newsletters quite regularly. And they hadn't picked up on that and were missing out on an opportunity to go, hey, just saw you clicked on that. How are you?
Right. Clearly, they still value you. They still value your intellect, your resources. That's an easy point of entry.
Yeah.
You've heard me say, you've been through the sales training workshop.
Yeah.
Buyers won't buy from you until they get to know you, then like you, then trust you. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
These former clients have already been through that. The hard work is done. They know you, they like you, they trust you, or did at some point they've spent money with you. You've got absolutely nothing to lose by trying to re-engage with them. If it doesn't work, then you are no worse off than you are right now. So why wouldn't you include going after these non-paying clients in your strategy and plans for 2026? I just think it's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. And people say to me, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be the kind of the stalkerish kind of agency. And my view is, look, to your point, if they've worked with you in the past, they are hopefully sort of positive about you in some sense or form. If you send them stuff and they turn around and say, stop sending me stuff, then fine, obviously you stop. But until they say stop, never stop.
I have former clients who are still friends. I have former clients who are still referring people to us. I have former clients who have served as references for me. It doesn't end. I mean, the work may have ended, but that positive relationship has not.
Yeah.
So there's, again, to Paul's point, to my earlier point, there's no reason not to at least try to go after some of your non-paying former lapsed clients.
Yeah. Well, look, and I think that's a good place to stop. We're at our 20-minute limit, Steve. So hopefully that is of use to our audience. Go out and talk to those people who you haven't spoken to for a while. You never know; it might create good things. The universe might give you good opportunities as a result. But Steve, thank you as ever for your wisdom.
Well, some thoughts. I don't know if it's wisdom, but it's some thoughts. I'll leave it with this, Paul, my final comment. And it's something that I say a lot, which is if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting.
Yeah.
So pick 2 former clients to reach out to. Try it. You've got nothing to lose, but you've got a lot to win. Yeah. So take a chance. There's no downside to trying.
Brilliant. That's another pod done. That's episode 7. Episode 8 will be coming down the tracks very soon. We're going to do one on how to use AI to help you do your sales and marketing more effectively, especially if you're a seller doer or an agency that doesn't have a lot of sales and marketing support. So that'll be coming down the track soon. But for the meantime, Steve, thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your knowledge and experience, and see you on the next one.
Paul, thank you very much. As always, enjoyable. Way too much fun. I hope we shared a few good ideas with the audience today, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right. Cheers, dude.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching and listening to Across the Pond. Get in touch with Paul at clientadvocates.co.uk and Steve at harpethmarketing.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.